I'm not taking call.
That the
Jackie's
question that was
not done.
on the so-called cheat sheet was not similar to the question that was asked at the press conference.
Your colleague is not done. Go ahead.
It's a very reasonable question.
No, but I hear you. Can you wait your turn? Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Myself?
Yep.
Thank you, Karine. I just wanted to ask you about the situation on the southwest border. As we know, some cities are claiming that they're a breaking point with regards to the humanitarian crisis that is ongoing down there. I know that there was an agreement signed with Mexico over the weekend. I wonder if the administration is in touch with these cities down on the border and if there's other actions that the White House is considering to address the issue that is taking place down at the border.
So I'm going to have to point you to the readout from CBP, as you just mentioned. They issued
Bunch of fucking bullshit.
a readout of their conversation with the Mexican government over the weekend. So regarding their engagement, so certainly would have you reach out to them and they could lay out specifically how that engagement went, and also refer you to the readouts more specifically as well. Karine. Okay, go ahead.
Thank you. So, in a recent meeting with the Prime Minister of South Korea, Xi Jinping expressed his support for resuming annual trilateral summits with China, Japan, and South Korea. I was just wondering if the administration has any comment on that development. And then additionally, recently the Japanese Prime Minister replaced both foreign and defense ministers. Is there any concern that this could impact the U.S. ROK Japan partnership, especially given that it's happening so soon after the trilateral summit?
So to your first question, I certainly would refer you to Japan and ROK for specifics of their plan for the trilateral cooperation with the PRC. So that is something that I would refer you to.
Good one.
But we here, certainly the United States, respects the ability of nations to make sovereign decisions in the best interest of their people, just as the United States takes steps to responsibly manage our relationship with the PRC and also with our other partners and allies. What was your second question? This is about the Japan.
Yes, recently the Japanese Prime Minister replaced both his foreign and defense ministers. I was wondering if there was any concern about how that could impact the U.S. ROK Japan partnership.
So first, I would refer you to the government of Japan on any personnel decisions that they've made. Look, you saw the relationship continue to deepen and grow just a couple weeks ago. Whoa! Now at Camp David, when there was a trilateral summit, which was historic and truly important. And so we're going to continue to work closely with our Japanese counterparts to enhance that relationship. So that certainly has not changed. Thank you. Thank you, John. I appreciate that. I really do. Go ahead.
Thank you.
Go ahead, John.
And just to be clear, to people, skeptics who saw the card and saw the question number one and might think that that is a signal that it was pre-organized. Did the president have other questions that he was prepared, had similar talking points in case he was asked something on other topics in that same?
Jackie, I'm going to be, as someone who was part of his, of the prep briefing with the president for these press conferences as his press secretary, we talk about an array of topics that could potentially come up.
What the hell is that shit?
And that's what we do. Just at the end, there was shouted questions, and he took those shouted questions. But we also had a sense that, hey, you might get something on a debt ceiling, which makes a lot of sense, which is one of the news of the day. So we cover an array of topics. It's not just the two Americans who asked questions. It was also the two South Korean reporters who asked questions.
Those are great names.
So we do our best to make sure that the president is ready to communicate with all of you and the American people. So yeah, we covered an array of issues, but of course there are probably the top 5 topics, hot items that you all are interested in, and so that's kind of how we move forward.
Wow.
Last one, just on that shouted question that he did respond to on the debt ceiling. Having heard your response to questions that were answered already here today. You've had now Democrats saying that Republicans have come to the table, might not like what they came to the table with, but it's time for the dialogue. How long can this posture from the president last before it feels like intellectually dishonest to say, you know, they're holding the economy hostage and not raising the debt ceiling when they did pass a bill to raise the debt ceiling, and the argument's really about the budget cuts, the spending cuts, and not about whether or not the debt ceiling gets raised.
So I have to say, Jackie, I disagree with the intellectually dishonest. That is.
Excuse me. All right, move on. Nothing to see here.
Certainly not how we see ourselves here, because we've been very, very clear that they need to deal with the debt ceiling. They need to not default. It is a constitutional duty. And it's, again, this is not to us. This is to the American people. If you think
without conditions, like unless it's a clean bill, they won't touch.
I've been very clear. Without conditions, we will not negotiate. There's nothing new there. What you're seeing that the House Republicans have done is they said that unless the president, and I've said this before, this is nothing new that I'm about to say, unless the president and the Senate agree to an extreme MAGA wish list, slashing education, veterans health care, Meals on Wheels, taking away health care from millions of Americans, and sending manufacturing jobs overseas, they're going to default and crash the economy. We've said this over and over and over again and been very clear. The president does not agree with this bill. He believes, and we believe, and the American people deserve this, that they need to do their constitutional duty. They need to do this so that they are not holding, not we, they are not holding the economy, our American economy hostage.
Triple stamp or double stamp.
We cannot be a deadbeat nation. We cannot be.
No meeting unless it's a clean debt bill.
Look, we've been very clear about this. We've been very, very clear. I appreciate the question. Oh, okay. Let me just take a question from the back. Well, I just took a bunch of questions on this. I want.
Literally just told you to come back to it.
Yeah, you also
But you literally
screamed.
just told-
Oh, right.